Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Screeny. Welcome back to the channel. Quick question, ever wondered how crazy gamers and gaming can get? Well, in today's video, we're going to be seeing just that. We're going to be looking at the craziest gamers that have ever been on Dr. Phil. Before we begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos about your favorite movies and TV shows. Number 5, Nico.
I don't want it! I'm a second away from throwing this right at your face. I broke this controller by throwing it across the room because I was angry.
Here we have 14-year-old Nico, who on a regular day spends 13 to 14 hours playing video games. Even while eating breakfast, he needs stimulation from video games on his phone to get through his meal. That is crazy, but not exactly what puts him on this list. 13 hours is an outrageous amount of time to spend gaming, but in Nico's case, it got to the point where he started having behavioral disorders. He started becoming rude and profanely disrespectful to his parents, consistently dropping them F-bombs.
Let me play, Kathy! Making me even more mad for sake! Leave me the alone!
Like that wasn't enough, this kid threatened to hurt his parents physically. Nico basically terrorized his parents into doing his bidding. At some point, it had gone from threats to actual physical involvement.
You. Why? Don't raise your hand at me. Don't raise your hand to me.
He broke his mother's nose a couple of times and threatened to kill his parents other times. Did I mention his mom is in a wheelchair? Whenever things were taken from him, he'd take it out on anything he could find, damaging his devices, furniture, and different parts of the house, just throwing and breaking things all over the place. Despite Nico admitting himself that he needed help, when sent to a wilderness therapy program, his parents pulled him out of it just after 9 days. Talk about enabling. Number 4, Justin.
I absolutely believe Justin's video game addiction is killing him.
You thought Nico was crazy? Well, you'll think again when you hear about Justin. Here's a typical case of eat, sleep, game, repeat. 23-year-old Justin has said that he prefers the virtual world to the real world, and that is evident in how much time he spends there.
Justin told me last year that he prefers the virtual world over the real world.
I'd rather live in a virtual world than a real one.
Do you want to get some help? Figure out if there's a way out of it?
Due to the amount of time Justin spent gaming, he had zero time for any other useful activity. He only eats once a day to quote, get it over and done with, and he gets up only when he has to use the bathroom, and occasionally uses recreational substances to enhance his gaming experience.
I generally wake up at 4 p.m. because I was up all night gaming the night before. I would probably eat once a day just to get it over with.
This lifestyle was seriously affecting his health in different ways. Since Justin wasn't eating as he should, he started to lose weight. According to his mom, he went from about 160 pounds all the way down to 110.
He won't even eat. Justin weighed 160 pounds, and because of his video game addiction, he got down to 110 pounds.
When you look at his old photos, you can see the massive difference in his outlook that this isn't the work of some healthy weight loss plan. It is just a result of improper feeding. He believes that the unhealthy lifestyle is wasting away his soul and feels that he can't do much with his life anymore since he has spent so much time in the virtual world. That is now his first home. Luckily, however, Justin took matters into his own hands when offered an appearance on the Dr. Phil show. We just hope he's got things back on track, as he does seem like a man who once had curiosity and ambition in the world around him. The real one for that matter. Number 3, Jake.
These are all my old consoles, usually from 2002 down to the 80s. We have the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, and then the Nintendo GameCube from 2002.
Real life is not much of a perfect place for Jake, so he resorts to gaming as a form of distraction from the imperfections. Like the rest who made this list, Jake spends all his time gaming. He's up in the morning, eats breakfast, and then games until the night ends. These people probably have a superpower if you ask me. Sitting in the same chair for 12 to 15 hours just gaming. That is no act of a regular human being. Well, for Jake, it was his normal. His mom made efforts to separate him from the console, but that only resulted in him in punching a hole in the wall. Like I said, superhuman.
When we got into a fight over my games, I was like rampaging around the house, trying to find them, like opening drawers, opening cabinets. When I came down here and punched a big hole in the wall.
You've knocked holes in the wall, you've torn shelves down, you've aggressed against the dog, you've aggressed against your mother.
His attachment to his games caused him to have withdrawal symptoms when it was taken away from him.
When I get my games taken away, I feel personally I don't have control over my mind and what I'm doing, so.
Do you go into withdrawal?
I think that is what happens to me.
He also had different behavioral problems which we're beginning to see in a pattern in these game addicts. In Jake's case, it was channeled towards his parents and school. Yes, school. Jake stopped going to school because it just wasn't his thing, apparently. However, he agreed that this gaming addiction was a problem that needed to be fixed before it translated into his adulthood. Initially, he felt it was something he could solve by himself, but after trying and failing, he was willing to seek professional help from the Dr. Phil show.
So I was just gonna go with the flow and accept what I needed to do. Missing out on this opportunity is gonna be a big mistake, and I think Dr. Phil is gonna be able to help me out with my problems right now.
Number 2, Alex.
I am scared that he will take the behaviors that he's learned in the game and retaliate. He could become another school shooter.
What he wants, when he wants, and exactly how he wants is the description of this 12-year-old gamer at home. This crazy kid is a big fan of violent games. He is pleased that he can do whatever he wants and get away with it in the gaming world. He probably wouldn't have made this list if the violence ended in the games, but this kid has learned to pass his anger out on everything around him.
One time, my console wasn't working. I took a rock, but I threw it at the TV.
It's evident he's got some anger issues just by looking at the condition of his bedroom's door.
He will turn over furniture, he breaks dishes, he has basically destroyed his room.
Sometimes, to release my anger, I grab a golf club and I go crazy on my door. These are the holes from where I did it. It was an argument and I just had to come in here, release my anger.
On other days, it would be any other part of his room or the house. This kid has the walls of his room looking like a whack-a-mole arcade game. Holes here, holes there, holes everywhere. He is always in his room gaming and doesn't come out to eat with the family, so when he gets hungry, he yells, "Peasant, bring me a plate," referring to his mother.
He never comes out of his room to eat with us, but he will yell out from his room, "Peasant, bring me a plate."
Still think this is not crazy enough? Well, this should do it for you. One time, Alex locked his mother out of the house and instructed that she got him Starbucks before he'd let her in. And she did. And Dr. Phil made sure to emphasize to her that this enabling shows Alex that his behaviors are acceptable.
You're the one providing him the games that you think are dysfunctional. You're buying him the extras that go along with it. You're enabling him to do this.
Dr. Phil had a lot to say about this whole situation and took Alex under his wing to finally get him the help he needs. Number 1, Paul. Here's a married man who was brought onto the show by his wife who is at breaking point. She claims he has a serious gaming addiction, but Paul, on the other hand, describes it as a moderate habit.
Do you have a problem with video games?
Yeah, I have a moderate problem with them.
Alright, you're probably wondering now, what is the time range? Well, he says he games for about 6 to 7 hours.
6 hours a day, which, in my opinion, I would consider to be an extreme problem.
It doesn't seem so bad compared to what we've seen so far, right?
And how many hours a day on average?
Probably about 6 hours.
But here's the thing, when you are doing something that the pleasure centers of the brain are reacting positively to, you can't really tell exactly how much time you have spent. Like they say, time flies when you're having fun. So what exactly am I getting at? Well, his wife says he actually games for about 12 to 14 hours a day. He just doesn't want to accept it.
She says you wake up and you play them all day long until you go to bed, that you eat in bed playing the game, that you stay in bed playing the game.
She thinks he is so caught up in his gaming that he barely has time for the family. His wife claimed that when on vacation, he bought a brand new flat screen TV to continue playing video games in the hotel for those few days.
I didn't buy a flat screen. Oh yeah, I did.
You did in Pensacola.
Because I was.
But you bought a flat screen on vacation to play your video game?
Yes, she said go ahead, do it.
It's enough that he's willing to buy a new TV to game for just a few days. But vacation is the only true time meant for family bonding, away from all of life's stresses. Yet he still decided to prioritize gaming. Paul even moved out of the house and decided to stay with his parents because he was trying to get away from his wife's temper regarding his gaming addiction. Yeah, that definitely sounds like an addiction and not just a moderate habit. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos on your favorite TV shows, and tap one of the 2 videos on screen for another amazing video.